Do you think that women ever reach a point where we don't need male validation?
No. No.
What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again with another one. So yeah, we in the joint, you know what I'm saying? We have we need to talk in the broadcast room. Shout out to them. Real talk. Yeah, you know, Black Love, Real Talk is on the docket tonight, you know what I'm saying? And, yeah. You know, hey, but before I go there, please like, share, subscribe, show me love at all times. Please hit that like button, please, please, please. And if you're new to the channel, you know what I'm saying, make sure you hit that bell, you know, so that you be notified when I do post and things like that, you know what I'm saying? Mad love to everybody, you know what I'm saying? Mad love out there to all my subscribers. But yeah, though. So, you know, let's check this out. Let's put these quarters, nickels, and dimes in on the times.
I think really the meat of what they're saying is some of the stuff that we are begging our women to do here. Women overseas do it by default. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that women overseas are begging their men to do, men over here do it by default. Right? This idea of respecting women, believe all women, things like that, that doesn't exist in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. That doesn't exist in, you know, Dubai. Right? So I think the message for women should be, you could make an argument that our men are internationally competitive. Are we internationally competitive compared to other women based on what men value?
That makes sense. It's like a sense of dictatorship versus democracy. So they are used to, like you said, having all of these high standards that they have to meet where they can be a little bit more relaxed. You still feel like you're being fulfilled because they're used to taking care of themselves and nurturing a man.
Hold up.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Let me explain a little bit here. You know what I'm saying? This is the joint. Right here in the broadcast room. The reason why a lot of men over in the Eastern cultures, you know, Middle East and things like that, the reason why they're holding on to those ancient values and structures and ways that, you know, life has been lived a long period of time is because they've seen the ups and downs of life. They've seen war, they've seen tragedy, you know, they've seen prosperity, they've seen, you know, back and forth. Life is an up and down situation. You know, a woman without any covering is a dangerous being.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Yeah, I said it. I sure did. A woman without any covering is a dangerous being because she's unvolatile. Isn't that what we always talk about here on YouTube? How basically, let's just break this down. You know what I'm saying? How unvolatile a woman is because of her emotions, okay? Because of her emotions, she's not stable.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And an unstable person needs a certain type of covering in order to keep stable. Now, listen here, hold on. I'm not saying that a woman cannot be in a position to where she cannot be stable mentally and be in control of her emotions. I'm not saying that at all.
What the French toast is there to think about?
But in order for a woman to be stable and in control of her emotions, she has to be raised that way from a child up in order to make that happen.
man. It's just not as much friction. So I think it becomes a thing of us as Black people, we have to figure out, do we want to do what's best for ourselves, or are we focusing on the bigger picture? Black people here in America, I should say, because you could go to another country and be with a Black person, right? And I kind of think that's where I'm at with it. One of my mentors, when I was in college, he's like, you probably should start dating outside your race, right?
Oh my God.
And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that, right? But
This was a woman?
No, it was a man. It was a man. No, he was a Black man. No. So it's so interesting. So he taught an African American studies class. He wasn't Black though.
Give me that, man. Listen, let me not get started. Go ahead.
A lot of knowledge, but I thought it was interesting. And he's like, you should probably start trying to date outside your race. And I'm like, I don't know. And
He had wanted you.
he actually, so he's not white, but he had a white wife. So I don't even know. It was just a lot of dynamics going on there. But I say that to say that there is this push that's been a conversation that a lot of
Hold up.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Man, that professor was trying to smash them cheeks. That's what was going on. Let's keep going.
women have on platforms on YouTube behind closed doors and things like that. And my gripe with that is that, yes, it may be easier, because who knows, grass is not always greener on the other side. But I still feel like I have a commitment to my people, in a sense, to try to fix the issues that we have so we can build on those economics, like you said before. So I think that's all we need to ask, and that's what we all need to ask ourselves. Are you, again, wanting something bigger than yourself and you want to stay here and make things work, or are you going to be a passport bro? Are you going to date out, divesting all those things because it's better for you?
But my thing is,
So what the French toast is there to think about?
my thing is this. You know, the overwhelming percentage of black people that are, congregating here in America, everybody's not going to be able to date out. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what the French toast is there to think about?
It doesn't work that way. And, in order for the masses to date out, because let's just keep this real. Hold on. First of all, let's keep this real. There are a mass amount more black women than there are black men. That's just how it goes. There's always going to be more women on the planet than there are men because of the way that, procreation works. You know what I'm saying? You need more women than you do men.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
So now, in that case, a lot of women, are in this zone to where they, are sitting around here thinking that, you just gonna be able to, have your pick of the litter. But, you outnumber everybody.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Yeah, that math doesn't add up. But hold on. Let's keep going.
And I think we have to pick our poison.
Yeah, and I've been encouraging people to do that, to fight the good fight. Mm-hmm. However,
It's hard.
I'm just gonna speak from a male perspective. When I hear some men's experiences, right, and particularly with our own women, and when I say our own women, I mean in American context, it gets harder and harder to tell them I don't even, because again, the thing that we're finding is men are simultaneously being asked to surpass Superman, right? Like, I need you making more money, I need you taller, I need you more muscular, I need you more charismatic, I need you more interesting, more multifaceted. I want you to be Tupac with a PhD. While simultaneously, we're seeing women being allowed or being championed for mediocrity.
In what ways? Talk to me.
You're beautiful in any size. It wasn't that you had a bad attitude, it's that they were too small. It wasn't that you were intolerable, you were unbearable. He just wasn't man enough. Right? So at the very same time, it seems.
Hold on. Because
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I just really don't get that. Because at the end of the day, and this is one thing that is happening in the black community, real talk. Due to the fact that, of course, you know, within the late 80s, early 90s, you know, we had gangster rap come in. Now, gangster rap, what it did, real talk, what it did was highlight what was going on in the black communities, you know, especially in the major cities at that time. You know, and in its own way, you know, kind of established something. But due to the fact that, you know, at that time, things were so, you know what I'm saying, messed up in the black community. It was so gutter. It was so vile. It was so ratchet. It was so, you know what I'm saying, out the box. The women have gotten used to out of the box ass men.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And that's what they look for. They're sitting around here thinking that a man is supposed to be this outlandish individual that you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day really is moving off emotion, but at the same time too is not, you know, they think that that is masculinity, you know what I'm saying, when it's really not. It's not at all. A thug is not a necessary masculine man. You know what I'm saying? A masculine man he has control. He has decision making. He has understanding. He has purpose. He has knowledge. He has vast amounts of wisdom beyond his years.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And see, these are the factors that have been forgotten about, you know what I'm saying, how men really move. Because here in America, we're, you know, so, you know, fascist and into just a bunch of crazy shit all the damn time. You know, but no, a man doesn't move that way. A man has those characteristics that I just named off. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, he moves accordingly. So, you know, and that's life. A man should always seek wisdom in this
and
life.
What the French toast is there to think about?
Wisdom is what helps men. That's what we could pass on to other men to make them stronger. And the wisdom gets stronger and stronger over time because it builds upon each other just like any mountain. To think about a volcano was not always a volcano. At one point, it was just flat land. Something happened that made that pressure build up to build those rocks and that land up and that into that mountain that it is now. That's spewing out that energy. Let's keep going.
Seems like, especially in our community, our women are being encouraged to be less and be celebrated for being less. Mm-hmm. Steadily, consistently becoming less, while the men are being discriminated against for not being superhuman. Because again, like, dudes overseas not making six figures. Nobody's saying that.
Right.
It's just be a good man. Some, you know, you talk about Mexicans sometimes. The woman makes more money, but it's still poppy.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? There is a deeply rooted sense of men are necessary, men are valuable, right? So even in his mediocrity as a man, I still need him because when everything falls apart, I'm not equipped physiologically to really be able to compete in the world, but he is. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the West, what it seems like is not only are you not man enough, you're not none of the sixes. Not only are you not man enough, I'm more man than you. And I dare you to check me.
You know what I'm saying?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
He said it, I didn't have to. You know, let's just go there. And this is the deal here. You know, as we're, living upon this planet, one thing, like I always say all the time, and also, I was taught, by my father, like on this planet, there's no such thing as independence.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
We as a black culture need to start understanding that there's no such thing as independence on this planet. And let me give you some examples. Let's go there.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
When you plant seeds in the ground, first of all, when you till up the land and you make the proper holes and you plant seeds in the ground, aren't you dependent upon the ground to make sure that the product grows or those plants grow?
What the French toast is there to think about?
When you go to the store to buy your clothing, aren't you dependent upon the people that drive the trucks? And before the people that drive the trucks, the people that sew the clothes and put everything together, you're dependent upon other people in order for your dingbat ass to go to Target or wherever you go to buy your clothes. I don't give a fuck if you go to Versace to get your clothes. You're still dependent upon somebody to put those clothes together because you're not sewing them together. True or false? When you live on planet Earth, aren't you dependent upon people to put drills in the ground to get the oil to make gasoline? Aren't you dependent upon people somewhere on this planet to make the trinkets and the bullshit that everybody like to use? You know what I'm saying? You're dependent upon other people to make your phones. You're dependent upon other people to of course, produce the food, the cars, the houses. We are all dependent upon each other on this planet.
What the French toast is there to think about?
I have yet to see one single ant build a mound by themselves. Hey, if you seen one single ant build a mound by itself, hey, please comment, hit me in the emails. I mean, seriously,
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I have yet to see one ant build a mound by itself, but I've seen a community of ants do what they need to do. And when you put that community together, stick your foot off in an ant mound, and find out what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I think some of this ties into cognitive dissonance in a way. Whew, this stuff is so deep, man. Oh my goodness gracious. So we have our parents, grandparents who possibly picked the wrong men. Something happened, men are not in the household.
Whoa.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
We can't get, no, we're not allowing that to get away with. No. Talking about picking the wrong men. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And this is the case right here. Because this is how DNA works.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
If it wasn't for the people that slept with the other people, and you people wouldn't be alive today.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I don't understand how you people could live on this planet within the universe and not try to figure out true life. Like it boggles my damn brain. So, the women pick the wrong men and this and that, and okay. Yeah, after we got past the lifestyle where actually your father was supposed to pick your husband, maybe it came to a point to where, you didn't know what the hell you were doing. Then, the government came in with their little mediocre bullshit and, totally wrecked the plan by giving you individuals certain types of benefits to where, it jump-started you with the thought process of being independent. I mean...
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Okay. Pick the wrong men. Okay. Let's keep going.
And so I think to alleviate that feeling of guilt, because we know it's not right for a man to be there, you either can take accountability for your role in that, or you can minimize the importance of a man to make yourself feel better. And I think that's what we're doing. And so from generations that's been passed down, and grandparents, parents have that guilt of knowing that they probably were less than, and that's probably why a man didn't stick around. But it's a consolation prize to yourself to say it was someone else. It wasn't me, it was someone else. And those are the messages that we're receiving from people.
So
what the French toast is there to think about?
Subconsciously, because, women talk to other women. Let's just keep this real. So subconsciously, women, from what she just said, women do know that, that at the end of the day, it's a problem when you don't have a man in the house. So women do know this. Okay. All right.
People who are supposed to be role models to us. So it makes sense with why you feel that way, but it's the aftershock of these generational traumas, generational curses that I think people like you and I are struggling to break. And I understand not wanting to wait for people to heal, but it's also frustrating for women like me, the millennials who are feeling all of this anger. They're like, men have been complaining about things for 60 plus years, and you guys are now reacting because we're saying something. I'm not 60 years old, right? I'm just here, like my mom, my grandmother, they might have done something, but it's not my fault. And so it's like, how can we work together to fix these things? But I think at this point, a lot of men are checking out. And I don't feel like it's my fault.
Hey.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And I'm going to keep this real right here, too. The thing is, yes, and 100% at the end of the day, the things that we're dealing with now are the after effects of the choices that our ancestors chose. So yes, it's not necessarily our fault from the choices of the ancestors in order for these things to lead up to today. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
It's not necessarily our fault. But the factor about life is shit rolls downhill.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And when shit rolls downhill, you know what I'm saying? The generations after have to deal with the shit. I mean, and that's what's going on now. We're dealing with the decisions that ancestors previously made about how they're going to move as a culture, about how Black Americans made their decisions 60-something years ago about how they were going to move in the culture. They made those decisions without really collectively thinking forward to the future. You have to think about it also, because at the end of the day, 60-something years ago, you know what I'm saying, they had certain beliefs. And it's no laughing matter. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. They had certain beliefs back then. And, they had Dr. King, Malcolm X, a lot of these political figures, even, Muhammad Ali made himself a certain type of political figure.
Toast is there to think about?
In a certain way, And the thing of it is by the culture of, you know, the 60s and things like that, those adults then, well, young adults, they were making certain decisions based on, you know, how they were being moved. So, you know, yeah, after you see a bunch, listen, in the culture that we live in today, let's just keep this 100. We never had a Dr. King or a Malcolm X or anything like that, you know, a true political figure to really lead us anywhere as a culture, like talking about. So, you know what I'm saying? To not have that, you know, we don't know what the fuck that shit really means. I mean, I'm just saying. But then, though, those people had that back then. So when they political figures actually started getting assassinated and things like that, I mean, I can see how the culture got broke.
What the French toast is there to think about?
You had men stop wanting to step up to put their face out there because nobody wants to get killed. Well, delete it. My bad. You know what I'm saying? Hey. My bad, you know. But nobody wants to be put in that position anymore because of what they saw back then. So yeah, the community started breaking down. And then once it broke down, you know, women had to make a certain choice. They made choices which obviously at that time seemed like a better option. So, you know.
I didn't have a role in that, so why am I the one that's being blamed for it?
We always pay for what our ancestors do. I'm just being honest. We always do around this. You know, it's up to us if we want to clean this up or do we want to just let it go. And I'm just being blunt and honest about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just for real. It's up to us if we want to really actually try to recorrect this course of the ship, or we just gonna let the ship, you know what I'm saying, go down and see.
That is a good question. So I'm gonna try to explain it, and not necessarily because I agree with this stance, but I agree with some of it. So the manosphere, for instance, is barely 5 years old. The podcast bros, that's new. It's relatively new. Like when we were in college, they weren't podcast bros. It was Joe Rogan and some other white dudes. But as far as black men speaking up and telling their truths, that was relegated to the barbershop. That was relegated to, you know, the basketball court or, you know, Super Bowl parties. And I think that's why we're seeing such a visceral reaction to people like Kevin Samuels, for instance, because it was the first time publicly that a black man was saying, motherfuckers ain't shit. But men have been saying this. You know, the norm was Oprah Winfrey, Ricky Lake, even some male-led talk shows, Phil Donahue, Dr. Phil, it's still skewed feminine. It's still skewed because the target demographic was women. So of course they're gonna tell women what they want to hear. It just makes financial sense. But this is the first time where men are starting to speak up. And what men are really saying is, I'm tired of receiving all the blame and not getting any of the benefit. So whenever we think about, for instance, patriarchy, a lot of us unintentionally see a black man. We see Mr. from Color Purple. It's been established in our mind that black men are inherently problematic. Black masculinity is inherently toxic. And we start conversations with each other from that place. So it's, hey, black man, prove to me that you're not inherently toxic. So you're guilty until proven. And I can speak to that even as a black man. Even when I was president of NAACP, at my college.
Go off, okay.
No, I'm not even trying to go off. The reason I go off, the reason I say that is because a lot of the pushback or a lot of the resistance came from other women, came from my own black women. It was the, who this nigga think he is? You know, it was the, oh, you think you somebody. Oh, a compliment a lot of times wasn't, Alan, you look good today. It's, oh, you think you look good today. So,
Hey.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Hey. And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there's some brothers out there that have heard some shit like that.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Trust me. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Real talk, mad love to y'all. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button at all times. And that make sure you hit that bell. You know, please subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. And yeah, like I say about this time, that, my friends, is the bottom line.